For example, in Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan, who believe in liberalism and capitalism, but it's how can a Communist Party unite this group of people to make sure that they are patriotic and they espouse the one China principle is also a question. So that is why there are many different groups like this in China who are not necessarily Communist Party members who believe in communism, but it's important for the party as well as for the government to unite this group of people, and that is why we have this department. So perhaps the most relevant issues, most relevant different groups here in China would be like Hong Kong, Macau, Taiwan, as well as Xinjiang and Tibet. So we'll see a lot of questions from that in today's press conference, particularly from foreign press, to ask how this department is dealing with issues like this.
And Han Peng, General Secretary Xi Jinping, in his work report on Wednesday delivered at the opening session of the 19th CPC National Congress, he made it clear that, quote, we have the resolve, confidence, and ability to defeat separatist attempts for Taiwan independence in any form. So how can the United Front Work Department play a role in carrying out this idea?
Exactly. This time from General Secretary Xi's work report, we have seen some very tough rhetorics that hasn't been seen for years in the work report of either the Communist Party or the Chinese government. For example, this time President Xi said used six any's in his statement against Taiwan. This time he said the Communist Party will not allow any person or any political organization or any social organization to separate any part of China at any time by any way. So this is particularly tough if we compare with the rhetorics before. And in Taiwan, many people interpret this as the hardline policies of the Communist Party is becoming even harder this time. But also many people say that the soft-line policies on Taiwan is also becoming a lot softer, because the General Secretary Xi Jinping also raised ideas about enhancing the people-to-people communications between the mainland and Taiwan, and also trying to make sure that the Taiwan economy can take the ride of the fast-rising mainland economy. So that is also important. But that is why today we're expecting a lot of specific policies laid out by this department to make sure that we can understand how the Communist Party is really dealing with Taiwan, particularly after the election of the new leader Tsai Ing-wen, who refuses to recognize the one China principle.
All right, Han Peng, live for us at the press center for the CPC as we wait for the United Front Work Department and International Department to begin its news conference in about 10 minutes' time. On Friday, General Secretary Xi Jinping hosted the second meeting of the Presidium of the 19th CPC National Congress in the Great Hall of the People. The meeting adopted the nominees for membership and alternate membership of the 19th CPC Central Committee and the nominees for membership of the Central Commission for Discipline Inspection. It also approved the draft resolution on the 18th Central Committee's working report, the draft resolution on the 18th Central Commission for Discipline Inspection's working report, and the draft resolution on the amendments to the CPC's constitution. Also on Friday, officials briefed the news media on the cultural and ethical issues facing the country, as well as the nation's efforts to grow its influence in the international stage. CGTN's Zoyun has the story.
The enhanced core values of socialism, a healthy culture market, and China's growing global influence. China's cultural and ethical achievements have been significant. Core socialist values are at the heart of nationwide rules and regulations. And the local culture industry, which covers publishing, television and movies, is now worth 3 trillion yuan, or about $450 billion US. And that accounts for over 4% of the world's second largest economy. Various parts of the industry are becoming stronger and more competitive. China is now the largest market for books, small-screen dramas, and big-screen productions. And the country has also been busy with reforms. In recent years, in the reform of the cultural institutions, it has been emphasized that efforts must be made to produce both social and economic benefits, with priority given to social benefits. This is also reiterated in the report of the 19th CPC National Congress. Could you elaborate on that?
In a socialist market economy, culture has twin functions, namely educational and recreational functions. As a result, culture products and services have both ideological and commercial dimensions. We cannot focus solely on market share, ratings, box office revenue. We should not enslave ourselves to the market.
Chinese culture has always been influential around the world. and now Chinese stories are being told better and Chinese voices are growing louder. It's all part of promoting the Chinese dream, which also includes better explanations of Chinese concepts, systems, and solutions.
With China become the second largest economy in the world and one of the major players in international affairs, now the country is making great efforts in promoting cultural and ethical progress while making greater impact abroad. So, CGTN, Beijing.
And joining me in the studio now is our current affairs commentator, Victor Gao-Jikai. Victor, thank you for joining us today. The CPC has held multiple dialogues in cooperation with overseas parties on global governance. What are some of the projects that have been launched in the last few years?
I would say the increased cooperation between CPC as the ruling party in China with many other ruling parties in the other countries in the world is a very encouraging phenomenon, partially because many political parties, either ruling parties or parties waiting to be elected into the offices, need to understand what is happening in China, how the CPC is governing China, and how the CPC is bringing about greater transparency and effectiveness, and all these experiences can benefit the other political parties and other countries. And I think major projects include, for example, CPC International Department sending delegations to attend the National Convention of the Democratic Party in the United States or the Republican Party, and the party-to-party exchanges between the CPC as the ruling party in China and the Democratic Party in the United States and the Republican Party in the United States. And this kind of party-to-party exchanges have increased over the years, including with other major countries and also traditional so-called developing countries or the former socialist countries. And I think this more diversified party-to-party exchanges help contribute to better understanding of what's going on in China, enable the CPC to learn from the other parties in terms of experiences and track record. And also I think CPC has brought more political party delegations from many countries to visit China, to attend seminars over here, to exchange ideas and thoughts over here. And I think this trend, which is a very prominent trend over the past 5 years in particular, will continue.
And why is it necessary to conduct party cooperation in addition to building diplomatic ties among country levels?
Yes, traditionally the foreign ministry in China conducts the official foreign policy matters, and the international department of the CPC in the 1950s, 60s, and I think all the way up to the 1970s only conducted party-to-party relations with the former socialist countries. And however, more recently, as we see, the political situation in many other countries is evolving very rapidly. We mentioned the bipartisan system in the United States involving the Republican and the Democrat, for example. In the United Kingdom, it's the Labour Party versus the Conservative Party. And in many other countries, every time when election happens, one party or several parties will form the government or the coalition government, whereas other parties will wait for another term before they can run office. But I think either the ruling party or party in waiting all need to understand what exactly is happening in China. They are very eager to approach the CPC, which is the ruling party here in China, to understand the real situation. And this creates a situation where the CPC now engages in such dialogue, not just with the former socialist countries, for example, but on a much wider basis. And I think the current policy is to engage with all the other major political parties in the other countries. Of course, the bottom line is not to interfere in the domestic political situations of other countries. So how to walk this fine walk is always very interesting to watch.
All right, Victor Gao, you'll be staying with me in the studio, keeping me company as we wait for this news conference to start. Thank you. Well, ahead of the CPC Congress, South Africa expressed high expectations for the gathering. The provincial secretary of the ruling ANC party in the Western Cape extended his best wishes and hopes to the Chinese people.
We are very excited at the upcoming event of the 19th National Conference of the CPC. We view it as a very important, very exciting event. I think from our side, we watch it with keen interest. We have a historical relationship with the People's Republic of China and the Republic of South Africa. We have extended long-term solidarity and friendship, and so we wish you well in your upcoming deliberations. I think think it's very important engagement, because it is the Parliament of the people. The CPC represents the millions and billions of people of China and its aspirations and its hopes. And through the CPC, we know that it can only continue in its successful agenda of building a moderately prosperous China for all its citizens.
All right, well, let's get back to our special guest in the studio today, Mr. Gao Zhikai, Victor Gao.
Thank you.
You were talking earlier about the level of cooperation among the CPC and different parties. What valuable experience can the CPC offer to foreign parties around the globe, and then what about what the CPC can learn from them as well?
Well, from the CPC's perspective, the political system we have in China is very unique. It's not heard of in any other country in the world. It's very much socialism with Chinese characteristics, and at the 19th Party Congress, President Xi Jinping announced it will be socialism with Chinese characteristics in the new era. So I think this is very unique to China. And China doesn't have any desire or intention to export its political system, its very unique political distribution of power to any other country. And I would say that any such attempted export of such political system probably may not work, because the circumstances in other countries are very, very different. What China is unique but can be shared with other countries is this consistency and commitment to maintain stability. And stability to be maintained may vary from one country to another given the different circumstances. But I think the of paramount importance in China over the past 4 decades is how to maintain stability, which will enable all the other businesses, all the walks of life, for example, to prosper and thrive. In this respect, we can really share our experience, and other countries and other political parties may benefit. Now, on the other side of the traffic, I think China can learn a lot from many other political parties, from many other political systems. In China, we used to say that without democracy, we cannot have modernization.
I'm going to have to cut you off,
yes,
as this news conference is beginning. Let's take you now to the CPC Central Committee's United Front Work Department and the International Department. They are going to be briefing the media on their work and taking questions from journalists. So let's listen in.
Good morning. Welcome to the press conference, the third one hosted by the Media Center. Today we have with us Zhang Yijiong, Executive Vice Minister of the United Front Work Department of the CPC Central Committee, and Vice Minister Ran Wanxiang, and also Guo Yezhou, Vice Minister of the International Department of the CPC Central Committee. They will brief you on the United Front Work of the party and international exchanges of the CPC. To the courtesy of our foreign reporters, the opening remarks and the Q&A will be translated with simultaneous interpretation. The questions will be done consecutively. Now, Deputy Vice Minister Zhang. The United Front Work is a political alliance led by the CPC with the aim of bringing together various political parties, social classes, ethnic groups, organizations, and people from all walks of life. At the opening of the 19th Party Congress, General Secretary Xi Jinping pointed out that the United Front is an important way to ensure the success of the party's success, and it was decided to develop a broad, patriotic United Front as the basic policy to uphold and develop socialism with Chinese characteristics. Since the 18th Party Congress, under the thought of Xi Jinping on Chinese socialism with Chinese characteristics, we have convened the Conference on Ideology religious work and ethnic groups. The Xinjiang work seminar and the meeting on new social groups. We introduced the first regulation on the United Front work, that is the regulation on CPC United Front, and also a number of guiding policies. The United Front has been consolidated and expanded, and it has played an important role in the cause of socialism with Chinese characteristics. First, the strengths of the multi-party cooperation system have become more prominent. The CPC-led multi-party cooperation and political consultation system is a political party system with Chinese characteristics and an important way for China to achieve socialist democracy. Since the 18th Party Congress, the party has made great efforts to build framework for consultation among political parties, encourage the participation in the deliberation and administration of state affairs, and strengthened overall democratic oversight. As a result, the system has played an unparalleled role in extending political engagement, in coordinating interests, building consensus, and enhancing social harmony. General Secretary Xi presided over 4 to 5 consultation meetings every year. And every year, every major policy of the party and the state was put to consultation. Non-CPC parties have leveraged the express train to provide views and suggestions to CPC Central Committee and the State Council. This has ensured democratic and thoughtful decision-making of the party and the government. Central committees of the non-CPC parties have concentrated on the oversight of poverty alleviation efforts and have conducted innovative changes to the oversight of work in relevant areas. A large number of non-CPC party members hold the post of MPC, government departments, and judicial organs. CPPCC is part of this patriotic United Front. It has convened regular consultation, conducted democratic oversight, and participated in the deliberation and administration of state affairs. It really reflected the strengths and features of Chinese democracy. Second, all social strata are fully invigorated. United Front works with a holistic approach to encourage all social strata to play their role and to get along. Since the 18th Party Congress, our party has built on the alliance of workers and farmers and rallied people from all walks of life and social classes. This has consolidated the foundation of popular support for the governance of the party. We have continued to encourage, support, and guide the development of non-public sector of the economy, and to encourage people in this sector to play entrepreneurship and participate in supply-side structural reform, restructuring, investment in people, and poverty alleviation, and to give back to the society and the country while developing their businesses. As for non-CPC intellectuals, we have provided guidance to and support non-party intellectuals and those returned from overseas study to give full play to their expertise and to ensure innovation and entrepreneurship. A number of them have broken ground in their respective areas that lead the world. In the field of new social groups, we have adapted to the trend of diversified social groups to expand the scope of United Front work, which now include non-party people working in management and technology sector in private and foreign businesses, intermediaries and social organizations, freelancers, and the new media. We have included them in the United Front work and to bring them closer to the party. Third, all ethnic groups in China are endeavoring for common development and prosperity. Since the 18th Party Congress, the CPC has stayed committed to the policy on ethnic groups with Chinese characteristics, improve the ethnic regional autonomous system, and support ethnic groups and ethnic groups inhabited areas to accelerate economic growth and improve their people's livelihood. We have stepped up human resources training, foster driving forces, intensified poverty alleviation, and promoted equal access to public services so that everyone can share in the progress of reform and development. We are cultivating a sense of community for the Chinese nation, and we have a deepened education to create enabling conditions for all ethnic groups to live, work, and learn from each other in harmony. This has deepened the exchanges, communication, and integration among ethnic groups. We have handled ethnic affairs on a legal basis and implement the CPC Central Committee's principles on Tibet and Xinjiang, enhanced coordination of management and service to migrant ethnic population, protected their legal rights, and take a firm stand against separatism. This has served to safeguard the national unity, ethnic solidarity, and social stability. Fourth, provided guidance to the religions so that they can adapt themselves to socialist society. Since the 18th Party Congress, the CPC Central Committee has acted in accordance with the policies on religious work, strengthened policy guidance, comprehensively implemented freedom of religious belief and the principle that religions in China must be Chinese in orientation, and applied socialist core values to advance the development of religions, and applied Chinese values to nurture religious cultures. We protect the lawful rights and interests in the sector, and we promote law-based religious work and strengthen the legal system. We protect the legal, curb the illegal, curtailing the extreme, resist the infiltration, and combat crimes. We step up rule-based religious affairs concerning national and public interest, tackle attempts to use religion to undermine national security, preach extremism, perpetrate terrorism, and sabotage national unity. To ensure religious activities are carried out within the Constitution and laws of China and in an orderly manner. This has greatly promoted religious harmony. Fifth, united as one, Chinese, both at home and abroad, are striving to realize the Chinese dream. Compatriots from Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan, overseas Chinese nationals, are all sons and daughters of the Chinese nation, bonded by blood with their compatriots in the mainland. Since the 18th Party Congress, the United Front, aiming at realizing the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation, has achieved unity to the greatest extent and drawn a wide range of overseas Chinese to support reform and development of the country and defend the country's core interests. We stay committed to one country, two systems, Hong Kong people administering Hong Kong, Macau people administering Macau, and a high degree of autonomy, support Hong Kong and Macau in growing their economy, raising people's living standard, promoting democracy, harmony, deepen exchange and cooperation with the mainland, and promote sustained prosperity and stability of Hong Kong and Macau. We firmly committed ourselves to the One China principle and the political foundation of 1992 consensus, firmly opposed Taiwan independence. We endeavor to build ties and exchanges between people on the two sides of the straits, take care of their need that have contributed to closer kinship and welfare. We put the interests of overseas Chinese first, with better services, pull their wisdom and support them while ensuring their interests, and encourage overseas Chinese nationals to participate in the modernization drive of China and reunification of the country, and stand against separatists worldwide and support reunification, carry forward Chinese culture, and promote friendship between the Chinese people and people across the world. All this has come down to the fact that we have consolidated the mind and political foundation for the United Front work. All political parties, social groups, ethnic groups, organizations, and people from all walks of life have shown pride and firm conviction in the prospect of China and have shown confidence in the nation's development and confidence in the path, theory, system, and culture of socialism with Chinese characteristics. We believe that under the strong leadership of the CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, we will realize the great Chinese dream of national renewal. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Minister Zhang. Now I give the microphone to Vice Minister Guo. Good morning, everyone. It's my privilege to have this opportunity to meet with you. While we are preparing for this press conference in the waiting room, I saw from the TV that he said you might not be very familiar with the international department of the CPC Central Committee. Therefore, I do appreciate this opportunity. I am from the International Department of the CPC Central Committee. Ours is a department in charge of international relations of the CPC with other political parties of other countries. In recent days, we have been studying the report delivered by General Secretary Xi Jinping to the 19th Party Congress. This is a very comprehensive report, covers all range of areas and works that we have done in the past 5 years. It also gives a comprehensive report and a summary on the country's diplomacy over the past 5 years. He said in the report that the party's international exchanges is an important work of the party and also an integral part of the overall diplomacy of the country. This is the dual role, what we call as our dual role of the international department. Over the past 5 years, we have been following this principle and we have made remarkable achievements and made historic changes. Since the last Party Congress, under the leadership of the CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at the core and with the full support and participation of the entire party and different localities and departments, we have pressed ahead our work following the principle of independence, equality, mutual respect, and non-interference. We have enhanced our exchanges with foreign political parties and organizations. Our work has focused on the following 5 areas. First, we worked to deepen party-to-party exchanges to promote mutual understanding and mutual appreciation. In the political life of many of the countries of today, political parties play a very important role. The exchanges among political parties help build common ground in terms of values, philosophy, and development goals, thus providing strong political driving force for the development of state-to-state relations. And that is exactly what we have been doing. In the past 5 years, we've been working to deepen bilateral and multilateral exchanges with political parties of other countries. During this process, we communicate not only with those who share our ideas, but also with those whose ideas might be different. We are now having regular contact with more than 400 political parties and organizations from some 160 countries. That is 400 political parties from 160 countries. An all-round party diplomacy that covers a wide range of areas and multiple levels has now taken shape. I wish to mention in particular that the direct exchanges between General Secretary Xi Jinping and other state and party leaders with leaders of foreign political parties are very important because such strategic communication is also a very important political guidance to our work. Second, we worked to let the voice of the CPC be heard for better understanding and greater support. The CPC is the core leading all endeavors of socialism with Chinese characteristics. One should first understand the CPC if he wishes to know China. After the last Party Congress, the world has a growing interest on China, on the CPC, and they are having an increasing attention on General Secretary Xi Jinping's thought on state governance. Given that growing interest, we have been trying in recent 5 years to tell more about the party and to help others better understand the party's major policy initiatives, including General Secretary Xi Jinping's thought on state governance. I believe some of you have participated in the events that we have organized. After the 18th Party Congress and each of the following plenary sessions, we've organized thematic briefings and seminars for foreign friends. And after this 19th Party Congress, we will also host a major thematic briefing, and we will invite experts and those who have participated in the drafting of the report to brief you on relevant events. And also we've sent delegations to around the world to talk on relevant topics. During those events, we aim to introduce the new ideas and new philosophy of General Secretary Xi Jinping's thought on state governance. Now, we have Xi Jinping's thought on socialism in the new era. So we share with others the ideas and strategies of General Secretary Xi Jinping's thought, and also share with you CPC's philosophy and experience. Third, we've worked to serve the overall diplomacy and resolutely safeguarded national interests. Upholding national interests is something inherent in our external work. General Secretary Xi Jinping has stressed on multiple occasions that as we pursue major country diplomacy with Chinese features, it is of paramount importance that we must follow the leadership of the party and resolutely uphold the governing position of the party and political security of the country. This is also our principle number one when we carry out party diplomacy. Over the past 5 years, we have been working intensively to safeguard and uphold national sovereignty, security, and development interests. From the G20 Hangzhou Summit to Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation and to the BRICS Xiamen Summit, party-to-party diplomacy has played an active role on major international events hosted by China. Also, during those events, we have received strong support and participation from our international cooperation partners. This gives us a stronger confidence that we are not alone as we pursue the right and just cause for mankind. Fourth, we worked to promote people-to-people connectivity for stronger social support. General Secretary Xi stressed that the amity between the people holds the key to state-to-state relations. The close link with the people is one fine tradition of the CPC. Such a fine tradition also requires that when we carry out international exchanges, we need to not only talk to those political figures and the leaders of political parties, but also pay equal importance and attention to public diplomacy and the exchanges between the people. Just give you one example. After the Belt and Road Initiative was proposed, our department has founded the Belt and Road Think Tank Alliance. Among its members are all major domestic research institutions and over 100 foreign entities, basically covering the majority of mainstream think tanks of Belt and Road partner countries. As the ruling party, the CPC offers general support to civil society organizations of China to go global. We encourage them to take an active part in the events hosted by international NGOs and to cooperate with NGOs and civil society organizations of other countries, especially those from the Belt and Road partner countries, in order to build mutual understanding of the people, deepen their friendship, and explore ways of cooperation. Fifth, we worked to expand our circle of friends for peace and development of the world. China needs the understanding and support of others as we pursue peaceful development. Likewise, the lofty cause of peace and development of mankind also calls on more to put in their efforts. We are the international department of the CPC. It is our mission to make more friends and work for peace and development. We communicate on a daily basis, not only with the ruling, participating, and non-ruling political parties and organizations, but also with friends from all sectors of the society, including think tanks, media, and civil society organizations. You may have read from the news that every day since the opening of the 19th Party Congress, we have received messages of congratulations from party and state leaders of other countries, as well as other leading organizations. They've sent us their congratulations and best wishes to the CPC, as well as new ideas on future dialogue and cooperation on party-to-party exchanges. It's fair to say that the network of friends of the CPC covers both political parties and governments, ruling and non-ruling alike, and governmental and non-governmental alike. And the circle of friends is still expanding. General Secretary Xi said in the report that the CPC strives for both the well-being of the Chinese people and human progress. To make new and greater contributions for mankind is our party's abiding mission. I believe such a noble mission and a lofty cause will attract more to join us as we march toward the future. Friends from the press, we also learned from General Secretary Xi's report that we need to enhance exchanges and communication with political parties and organizations of different countries. And according to the amendments to the party constitution, we need to follow relevant principles in developing relations with other political parties. As we pursue new development of socialism with Chinese characteristics in the new era, and under the guidance of General Secretary Xi's thought on socialism in the new era, we will further study and implement President Xi's thought and enhance our work in terms of international exchanges of the party to promote the great project, realize our great dream, and make our contribution in this endeavor. Thank you.
Now the floor is open. Please first state your media affiliation.
第二排那位女士。
好，谢谢郭主任，我是来自于中央人民广播电台的记者。我们注意到目前各地的统战部部长都是由同级的党委常委来担任的，而且去年呢，中央统战部也新设了2个局。那么我的问题就是，这是否意味着中国共产党把统一战线的这样一个方针政策放到更重要的位置之上了？那么在执政60多年后，中共为什么还如此的重视统一战线呢？谢谢。
I'm with China National Radio. At the moment, the head of the United Front Work Department of the different localities is also a member of the standing committee of the party committee at the same level. And last year, 2 new bureaus were set up in the United Front Work Department of the CPC Central Committee. My question is, does that mean the CPC has placed more importance on United Front work? And why such high attention after more than 60 years of being in power on the part of CPC?
好的，你这问题提得非常好。
This is a very good question.
确实，我们党18大
For the Communist Party of China since the 18th Party Congress, and in particular,
报告中
in the report delivered by General Secretary Xi Jinping to the 19th Party Congress, it stresses the importance of the United Front work.
我们现在面临的任务是。
The mission that we face now is to realize the 2 centenary goals and to realize the Chinese dream of national renewal. The 2 centenary goals and the Chinese dream, they are the shared aspiration and mission for all the Chinese people, including people of all ethnic groups. So we need to rally everyone under the leadership of the CPC to strive for that goal and to achieve that goal. Because that is our cherished aspiration, and that is what all the Chinese people want. We need to unite as many people as possible in wide-ranging areas and rally them under this goal and encourage them to strive for that goal, and that requires the role of the United Front work. The United Front is to serve great unity and great solidarity. We need to unite and rally people from all walks of life, social groups, social classes, and to pull efforts to strive for these goals under the leadership of the Communist Party of China. In the report, General Secretary Xi pointed out that the United Front work is an important way to ensure the success of the party. It is an important way to ensure the success of China's revolution cause. It took many struggles for the Chinese people to gain independence. It was because of the United Front work that China achieved the success in those struggles, and the Chinese people stood up among the nations of the world. Under the leadership of the party, the United Front work was fully leveraged, and the Chinese people in the journey toward prosperity, that United Front work also has played an important role. But for the Chinese people to be stronger, we also need to rely and better leverage on the United Front work. For my department, some of you may not know much about what it does. Let me say a few words. The department is responsible for the United Front work as entrusted by the Party Central Committee. We oversee the specific work, including study, recommendation provision, daily organization, coordination, and oversight of policies and principles, and including evaluation of the implementation. You mentioned the party secretary taking on the work of the United Front work. This is to ensure that the United Front work can be better promoted within the institution of the Communist Party of China and play a better role in coordination. Thank you. Next question, please.
谢谢郭主任，我是光明日报融媒体记者。中国一直积极参与国际事务，对外工作方面，习近平总书记提出了一系列重要的论述，体现重要思想。请问，党的对外工作如何践行这些重要思想和理念？谢谢。
With Guangming Daily, China has taken an active part in international affairs, and General Secretary Xi Jinping has put forward important thoughts and ideas on China's foreign policy. In practice, what efforts have been made in the party's international exchanges to implement these important thoughts and ideas?
好，谢谢你的提问。
Thank you for your question.
就像我刚刚在发布词当中所说的那
I
样，
said in my
总书
opening
记
remarks
高
that
度重视
President
党的
Xi
对外交往。
Jinping and General Secretary Xi
无论是
Jinping
他
paid special
在地方
attention
和
to the
中央工作
international
期间，
exchanges of the
还是在
party
担任党和
during
国家最
different
高领导
posts
职务
that he has
成为我们党
taken
核
in
心
the past. He has always
他都
attached a great
多次
importance
亲自指导
to this work,
亲身参与
offering
党的对外交
personal
往。
guidance and personally
在这一过程
participated
中，
in
习
the
近平总书
international
记
exchanges
把握
of
世
the
界发展大
CPC.
势，
Based
着眼
on
中
his
国的命运，
analysis of world
就党
development
的对外
trend
交
and
往工
China's
作提
future
出了一系
destiny,
列
General Secretary Xi has made a series of
做出一系列
instructions and
重要
put
指示。
forward important
这些要求和
requirements
重要
on
指示
CPC's
十
international
分的细
exchanges.
十分的
These
科
are
学。
very comprehensive,
由于
scientific
时间的
and
原因，我无法
systematic.
一一的来
For time's
来列
sake,
举。
I will not
但是这些要求
elaborate too
这些
much
指示
on the specifics of these instructions, but they together provide answers to questions such as what we should do, what do we do, how do we do it, for whom and by whom. These are important answers to questions in our theory and in our practice. And together they form General Secretary Xi's important thought on the international exchanges of the party. It is an integral part of the theoretical system of socialism with Chinese features and the latest results of our efforts to adapt Marxism to the Chinese context. It is also the manual for action, guiding principle, and useful instrument as we advance the party's international work. Over the past 5 years, the work of our international department has been centered around the implementation of General Secretary Xi's thought on the external work. To be specific, the fundamental purpose of our work is to always safeguard the governing position of the party and political security of the nation, and we have a dual role, that is to promote the international exchanges of the party and also be an integral part of the country's overall diplomacy. And we have been working actively to integrate party diplomacy, public diplomacy, and people-to-people exchanges. And to be more specific, we have 4 major tasks, which are to promote party-to-party exchanges, doing research, strengthening friendship, and carry out our publicity work. In the past 5 years, we learned from our practice that to succeed in our work in the new era, and to implement General Secretary Xi's thought on our work, we must follow some fundamental principles. First is the fundamental guiding principle, that is, we need to raise our political consciousness in 4 aspects, as required by General Secretary Xi Jinping, and always follow the instructions of his important thought. And second is the fundamental task, which is, as I've said, to resolutely uphold the governing position of the party and realize the rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. And third is the fundamental pathway, that is, we need to do a better job in the exchanges of the mind and of the ideas to provide effective political guidance to our work. And fourth is the fundamental driving force, which is to promote innovation and to have a pioneering spirit. And fifth is the fundamental safeguard, that is to be people-centered and to have perseverance and to engage in hard work. As I've said, this is the fundamental safeguard for us to succeed in our work. In his report to the 19th Party Congress, Secretary General Xi requires us that we need to strengthen our work. This has also been required by the constitution of the party. So we must put General Secretary Xi's thought as our guidance, study and implement the outcomes of the party congress, work hard to build a community of shared future for mankind, and promote the development of the great project of party building. Thank you.
这样，现在给后面那位外国记者吧，倒数第3排，就你的右手服务员，你的右手服务员，外国记者，对对对。
Hi, from Bloomberg News. A question for Guo Yazhou. Has China's relationship with North Korea deteriorated in the last year? Specifically, has China's party-to-party relationship deteriorated? And when was the last time that Minister Song Tao had a high-level meeting with the North Korean counterpart? Thank you.
我的问题是提给郭部长的。似乎在最近几年，中朝关系有所恶化，尤其是两党之间的关系也变得更糟。我想问，上次宋涛部长与朝方的相应的官员的高层交往是什么时候？谢谢。
我的名字叫郭叶洲，不是郭亚洲。
My name is Guo Yazhou. It seems that your pronunciation was not very correct just now.
中朝啊是近邻，
China and the DPRK are close neighbors. We've maintained traditional friendship and cooperation. Both of us know that it's important for us to safeguard and develop the relationship between our two countries. It serves not only the interests of both sides, but also is of great importance to safeguarding peace and stability of the region. You mentioned about party-to-party relations between our two countries, and you said this is very important in promoting state-to-state relations. Between the CPC and the Workers' Party of Korea, we've had some traditional friendly exchanges. As for when and how and at which level we will carry out exchanges, it depends on the needs of both sides, as well as for which time is convenient. This is my answer to your question.
就刚才那位呢，是前面那位。
谢谢主持人。中评社中评网记者提问。我们知道这个民族问题一直是全球性的、地区性的这个热点问题哈。那不同的这个民族政策对于这个处理民族问题也将产生不一样的这个作用和效果。那我想问的是，就是说与其他的国家相比，中国的在处理这个民族问题上所实行的这种政策和制度有什么样独特的地方？谢谢。
With China review news of Hong Kong, we know that globally and regionally, ethnic issues are tough ones to handle, and different policies on ethnic issues also have different roles and effects in handling this issue. My question is, in dealing with ethnic issues, how are China's policies and institutions different from those of other countries?
好，这个非常高兴回答你这个问题。
I'm very happy to take this question. We all know that China is a multi-ethnic group country. We have 56 ethnic groups. And they have played an important role in the development of the Chinese nation. We are a unified, multi-ethnic country. To maintain national stability, governance, and to deliver a better life for all ethnic groups has been an important mission for the party. Around the world, there are many countries who have multi-ethnic groups. Because of the differences in history, culture, and national reality, each country is exploring its own path to handle ethnic affairs. The CPC has been basing on the sense of responsibility to serve the Chinese people and the Chinese nation. In terms of unification, common prosperity, and common development, when it comes to ethnic policy, we have formed a policy with Chinese characteristics, as stated by General Secretary Xi Jinping. Before the founding of the new China in 1947, we advocated the first autonomous government in Mongolia, and that started the practice of ethnic regional autonomy system. We now have 5 province-level regions: Guangxi, Ningxia, Tibet, Inner Mongolia, and Xinjiang. We have 30 autonomous prefectures and over 150 autonomous counties. In your question, you asked about what unique advantage we have. I will put it this way. That is the strength of China's ethnic regional autonomy system. And I will elaborate on this in several aspects. First, at the core, we uphold equality to ensure equal rights of all ethnic groups in the administration of state affairs and in maintaining their legitimate rights and interests. We prohibit discrimination or oppression against any ethnic group. One example from the National People's Congress, that is the supreme organ of power, and also the State Council and CPPCC, there are large numbers of leading officials and members of special committees are from ethnic groups. The largest groups have population over 10 million, and the small ethnic groups may just have several million members. But they can participate in the People's Congress and CPPCC at county, city, and provincial levels, and they exercise equally their rights to participate in state affairs. That is the first strength. Second, great ethnic unity and solidarity. We respect and protect their customaries, practices, and traditions. We roll out education programs nationwide and conducted outreach programs. The 56 ethnic groups have their special cultures and history, and they concentrate in different regions that may have different levels of development, and they may have different religious beliefs, and they are different in their own ways. The central government takes this very seriously. We respect and protect their traditions and their history. In terms of language, written language, traditions, and cultures are well protected by Chinese laws. At the same time, we encourage them to respect each other, understand each other, learn from each other, to draw upon each other's strengths. That is what we say. We need to have more communication, exchange, and integration among ethnic groups. Thirdly, we exercise ethnic regional autonomy system. Under the unified leadership of the state, we exercise this special system. There is autonomous institutions to exercise autonomous power. They are equal in terms of law, and they have equal legal status. And that is really functioning system. In relevant localities, there are, as I said, autonomous organs, and they have autonomy in their administration. A simple example, the executive head of the locality is an outstanding representative of that ethnic group. For example, Xinjiang, Tibet, Guangxi, Ningxia, and Inner Mongolia. It is that way. From the region to prefecture to county, they have autonomous governments. Fourthly, we support accelerated development of those regions, and we implement the Go West strategy, and we have taken measures to promote prosperity and development in border areas. And we have partnered assistance to Tibet, Xinjiang, and Qinghai. Most of the ethnic minority groups that live in south, west, and northwest, they are relatively underdevelopment in their economy. In terms of economy, culture, education, transportation, health care, compared to coastal areas and metropolis, in the interior part of China, they are underdeveloped. Since the adoption of reform and opening up, the party and the government have been working to provide strong support to those underdeveloped ethnic regions. For example, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of better education, better health care, better job opportunities, medical services, and housing. A lot has been done to support and assist these regions to catch up. In addition to what has been done by the central government, we have organized localities nationwide to partner with ethnic regions. For example, Tibet, Xinjiang, and Qinghai, who has many ethnic minority groups. Qinghai province is a province, but as Yunnan and Guizhou, there is a concentration of ethnic groups, and there are partnerships with other provinces and regions of China. The central government has been doing everything it can, and the people of China have been rallied in this work, and we don't want to leave anyone behind in the journey toward common prosperity, because the advanced regions have the responsibility and are duty-bound to help their counterparts in less developed countries. As General Secretary Xi Jinping said, we need to stick together as seeds of a pomegranate. And fifthly, protect and carry forward ethnic cultures. To protect and rescue cultural relics and heritage, and to support the development of ethnic medicines. We pursue ethnic regional autonomy. One part is to preserve and carry forward their culture, their tradition, and the fine results that they have built throughout history. There are performances staged by different ethnic groups, exhibitions, costumes, shows. When you travel across China, when you go to those ethnic regions, or even in Beijing, there are ample opportunities for you to taste the special food of different ethnic groups. That is something that we will protect, among others. We will also carry them forward so that they can be preserved, and more importantly, they can be carried forward and spread. And they will continue to be an important part of the splendid Chinese culture. For every country, whether there is unity among ethnic groups, whether there is a strong protection over the rights and interests of ethnic groups, one important measurement is how important is its culture and history taken. And what we have been doing have been well received by people of all ethnic groups. People from all ethnic groups are now working together to realize the two centenary goals and the Chinese dream of national renewal. Thank you.
行，那个对，那个第三排那位男士，对不起，前面第三排，对，第5个，这样数过来，对，好，请，是的。
I represent Associated Press of Pakistan. We have noticed that CPC has carried out very close exchanges with the political parties of neighboring countries. What role these intra-party exchanges have played in promoting bilateral relations between China and neighboring countries? I request Mr. Gao to answer this question.
来自巴基斯坦联合通讯社问题提给郭部长。我们注意到中国共产党与周边国家政党的交往非常的密切，请问这些交往为促进中国与这些国家的双边关系发挥了怎样的作用？
中联部的郭部长。
中联部的，我们这个台上有2位姓郭的这个人士，特别感谢。
Thank you. I'm from the International Department of CPC. Thank you for your question. Pakistan, as we call in China, is our ironclad friend.
以前一位长期在巴基斯坦工作的一位中国的同事跟我说。
One of my colleagues used to told me, as he has been working long in Pakistan, that between our two countries, we indeed have a very profound friendship. As sweet as the honey and as hard as the iron. Therefore, I do hope that you can carry forward our good and friendly sentiments to the people of Pakistan back home. You asked about the exchanges between the CPC and political parties of neighboring countries. China has many neighbors. We have as many as 14 land neighbors and also several other neighbors on the sea. We say in Chinese that without a good neighborhood, we cannot have security for the country. And that requires us, both from the government and from the party, that we need to pay special attention to neighborhood diplomacy. Since the last party congress, the Central Committee of the CPC with General Secretary Xi Jinping at the core has been paying special attention to neighborhood diplomacy. We have hosted for the first time in the history of the party and the nation a special work conference on neighborhood diplomacy proposed the principle of amity, sincerity, mutual benefit, and inclusiveness, and the policy of forging friendships and partnership with its neighborhood. Such are the guiding principles for us to enhance friendly exchanges and cooperation with our neighboring countries. And it is under those principles that our department conduct our exchanges with parties of neighboring countries. And this has played a very important role in the development of relations between China and the neighboring countries. For example, General Secretary Xi Jinping has met on different occasions with General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam and the General Secretary of the Lao People's Revolutionary Party. Their meetings have played a very important role in promoting the practical cooperation between our two parties, respective parties, and between our peoples, and they have reached many important consensus, thus providing the strategic guidance for the development of China-Vietnam and China-Laos relations. And also between our political parties, we have regular exchange mechanisms and seminars on theories and philosophy of the party. Those activities have promoted our capacity building in state governance and in the building of our party. And as I've said before, we also have exchanges and communication with the Workers' Party of Korea. If we look at the north side of China, we are also having cooperation, very close cooperation with political parties from Mongolia and Russia. For example, with Russia, we have regular exchange mechanism with the ruling party of Russia. Actually, two major platforms. One is the dialogue between the ruling parties, and the other is a political party forum. These two platforms have played a very important role in the development of the strategic partnership between China and Russia. Between China and Japan, we also have exchanges between our political parties. And as the influence of China and the CPC keeps growing, different neighboring countries around China, from Northeast Asia, Southeast Asia, South Asia, and Central Asia are paying special attention to party-to-party exchanges. Many of them have proposed while visiting China that they hope to visit their old friends in the Central Department of the CPC. Thanks to our efforts, we have established a diversified platform for dialogue and cooperation with major political parties of those countries at different levels and covering different areas. This has promoted the bilateral relationships development as well as the development of the region, and also helped us in properly handling some regional hotspot issues. In the future, we will continue to uphold the major principles in party-to-party exchanges to develop our party-to-party exchanges. In his report, President Xi stressed that we need to follow the principle of amity, sincerity, mutual benefit, and inclusiveness, and the policy of forging friendship and partnership with its neighbors. This is one important guiding principle for us. We hope that with our efforts, we can enhance exchanges with political parties of neighboring countries, thus promote the friendship and relations between our countries, promote the friendship and enhance our exchanges and cooperation in the economic and security area, and in this way contribute to the common development of China and the relevant countries, and contribute to peace, stability, and prosperity of this region.
行，就刚才那个记者旁边那位外国记者吧，他也一直举手，哎，对。
Thank you very much. From the Associated Press. For Mr. Zhang, you noted in your report that a large part of your work involves mobilizing overseas Chinese to protect the core interests and to further the core interests of China. And I'm sure you're aware that there have been numerous reports in the media and from government and academics, particularly in Australia and New Zealand, that say some of the actions of your organization and also of the United Front, constitute a degree of spying or manipulating the overseas Chinese communities and the media there in ways that could undermine the sovereignty and political systems of those countries. Just wonder how you respond to those accusations. Thank you.
我是来自美联社的记者，您在刚才的开场白提到，统战部的工作呢是动员广大海外的中国侨胞维护中国的核心利益。那有报道称，在尤其是澳大利亚和新西兰，中国统战部这样的工作呢，可能会影响到当地媒体以及国家的主权和政治体系。您如何回应？
好，这个我们在海外。
In other parts of the world, we have a large number of overseas Chinese.
我们在外面的华侨是历史形成的。
And they are there.
改革开放以后，又有一批
because of what has happened in history.
定居海外。
After reform and opening up,
历史上，中国
a large number of Chinese nationals
中国人
settle in other parts of the world.
到了世界各国。
Historically, Chinese,
他们有了中国的血统，
they
他们已经没有中国的
traveled across oceans to settle in other countries. They have Chinese, they are Chinese descendants, but they are the citizens of other countries.
我们对华侨华人的政策是非常
For
明确的。
overseas Chinese community,
我们欢迎
you mentioned Chinese in Australia and New Zealand. For those people, we actually encourage them to engage with local people in the receiving countries. We ask them to respect the laws and regulations
同时，我们要求
of the countries that they live in,
文化、
respect
历史
culture,
和生活习俗
history,
就
and
如
way of
同
life
我们希望
in
在
those countries.
中国大陆工作生活
Likewise,
一样，
we hope
尊重中国的法
the
律。
foreign nationals living in China would respect China's laws and regulations, China's history, culture, and
我们
traditions.
也积极鼓励他们回到他的祖国。
We also encourage them to
或者祖籍
return
国
to China
回来
or to China, which is
旅游了解自己
the
的祖籍
ancestral
自己祖国
place
的
of some Chinese who are
文
already
化和
citizens of other countries,
也能
to
够在为
get
伟大祖国
an
或者
understanding
自己亲
about
近的
how
祖籍国
China
的发展
is today and to contribute to the motherland
鼓
or
励和要求我们
the
的华侨
country
华人
that is their ancestral
尊重
home in their own ways.
驻在国的
As I said, we ask Chinese community overseas to respect the
在当
laws
地社
and
区
regulations
是一个受欢迎
of
的
the receiving
华侨
countries and to become a welcome member
华侨华人啊，
of
对于加强
those
中国的
countries.
驻在国和世界各国的交
We
流
also hope that they can
发挥了
play
很大的作用，而且发
a
挥了
bigger
越来越
role
大
in
的
promoting the engagement and exchanges between China and other countries. Actually, they have been playing an important role, and we hope they will continue to do so. Thank you.
我是中央电视台和中国国际电视台的记者。我想问一个关于这个多党合作制的问题。现在呢，世界上大多数的国家都是多党制，有一些社会主义国家是一党制。 而中国呢是这个多党合作制。但是有一些个西方的媒体同行可能对这个多党合作制不太了解，他们在报道中我们注意到，经常是把中国称为一党专政或者一党独裁，用这样的词汇来形容中国的这个制度。那么我想问一下，就是说从统战的角度来看，这个多党合作有什么作用？这些个民主党派存在，他们的意义是什么？还有就是在树立了这个习近平同志为核心的党中央之后，这个多党合作，执政党和民主党派他们之间的配合应该如何进行，来进一步的夯实这样的一个制度？谢谢。
好的。With the CGTN, most of the countries in the world have a multi-party system, and some socialist countries have a one-party system. China adopts a multi-party cooperation system, and some in the West may not know very well this system. My question is, what are the role of this system, and how will the CPC Central Committee cooperate with the other political parties to enhance its work?
好，这个问题请我的同事，中央统战部的副部长任万祥同志回答。
I will invite my colleague, Vice Minister Ran, to take this question. This is indeed a very good question. For China's political party system, it is attracting growing attention from other parts of the world. China's political party system is the CPC-led multi-party cooperation and political consultation system. The structure of this system is the leadership of CPC, China Democratic League, Revolutionary Committee of the Kuomintang, China Democratic National Construction Association, China Association for Promoting Democracy, Chinese Peasants and Workers Democratic Party, China Party for Public Interest, or Zhigong Party, Jiusan Society, and Taiwan Democratic Self-Government League. There are 8 non-CPC parties. The CPCC is an important part or organization of the CPC-led multi-party cooperation system. Executive Vice Minister Zhang, in his opening remarks, talked about this system. Since the 18th Party Congress, guided by Xi Jinping's thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era, the multi-party cooperation cause in China has made good progress. The system is working effectively. It is showing great strength and vitality. It's like a towering mountain. It is showing different strengths. If you observe from different angles and aspects, you may find different strengths and advantages. First, it has a long history. This system was gradually formed in the process of China's revolution and development practices. It is a choice of history and a choice made by the people. In the era of new democratic revolution, choice of history and a choice made by the people. In the era of new democratic revolution, various political parties in the process of revolution gradually endorsed and accepted the political principles of CPC. In 1948, they responded to the May Day call made by the Communist Party of China, and that was a milestone moment. Since then, non-CPC parties and people without party affiliation voluntarily chose to accept the leadership of CPC. This opened a new page in multi-party cooperation. Second, broad social support. The CPC serves the people, and this is the spirit of the CPC. This spirit has inspired non-CPC parties to join in this effort. They endorse wholeheartedly the leadership of CPC, and they want to join the CPC in this journey. And they conscientiously have taken socialism with Chinese characteristics as their own political guidelines and have incorporated it into their charters. This has formed the shared ideal and theoretical foundation for the multi-party cooperation system. Third, there is the need or relevance in today's China. This system represents the interest of all Chinese people. Non-CPC party members are intellectuals mainly, and also they connect and reach out to a number of people that join the development cause of China. They represent respective groups in China, and they show the diversity of the political party system of China, and they represent different interest groups in China. Fourth, the unique form of democracy. Non-CPC members and the Communist Party of China have followed the principle of long-term coexistence, mutual oversight, sincerity, and sharing the rough times and the smooth times. Under the leadership of the Communist Party, multiple parties have worked together and participated in the deliberation and administration of state affairs, so that state affairs are decided by all the parties. This has ensured that non-CPC parties can participate in an extensive manner in the administration of state affairs. That is a unique feature of China's political system that has a strong advantage. You may have noticed that in this party congress, non-CPC parties have sent their congratulatory message to the opening of the 19th Party Congress, and they have made it clear that they support the status of General Secretary Xi at the core, and also expressed their commitment to building socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era, and to the realization of the Chinese dream of national renewal. So the multi-party cooperation system is really gaining momentum in China. Thank you.
先这样，先给倒数第二排那位男士吧。哎，对了。
谢谢立本共同校。我想提给中联部的郭亚洲部长。明年是日中和平友好条约签署40周年，那么有没有计划与日本政党交流的大型纪念活动？还有一个问题就是，前一段时间日本首相安倍说，年内打算开中日韩首脑会晤，还有说他希望明年自己访问中国之后，习主席访问日本。那么请问，您看这样的首脑互相交流会不会实现？有没有具体的安排？期待什么的？谢谢。
I'm with the Kyodo News. Next year marks the 40th anniversary of the China-Japan Treaty of Peace and Friendship. Are there any plans of holding large-scale celebrations with Japan's political parties? And recently, the Japanese Prime Minister has expressed the desire to have a China-Japan ROK Prime Ministers meeting within this year, and expressed the hope that next year he will visit China and afterwards having President Xi visit Japan. Will that be realized, and are there any specific plans?
谢谢你的提问。
Thank you for your
就像我
question.
在刚刚介绍中国
I
共
said
产党和
before,
周边国家政党
as
交往
I
情况，
tell you about the international exchanges between China and the neighboring
中日
countries,
两国的政党交流。
I mentioned about China-Japan party exchanges. This is one outstanding feature as well as important part of China-Japan exchanges.
它始终有
Recently,
两块大的背景板，
we have
一个
two
就是
major context or
中日邦
background
交正常化
for
40年， 还有一
China-Japan
个就是明年
political party
将是中日
exchanges.
和平友好
First
条约缔结40周年。
is the 45 years of normalization of
中日邦交正常化45
our
周年，
diplomatic relations, and
两国
second
关系
is next year's 40th anniversary of this
和考
treaty.
验。总体上
Our bilateral relationship
有长足
has
的发展，
experienced some turbulence and
对两国
tests, but
对
in
两国
general,
都
it
带
has
来了巨大的利益，
developed remarkably and brought tremendous
全世
interest
界的
to
和
our
平
two countries and
稳定和
peoples
发展
and
都做出了重要
contributed
的贡献。
to peace, stability, and development
如果我们着
of
眼于
this
这两
region
块
and
重
the
要的背
world.
景板上，
We have two
我觉
major
得
broad background
目前中日
for
关系
such
面临着
relationship,
新的机遇，
and we can see that we are
但是
faced
也要看
with
到
both
还有
new
一些挑战。
opportunities and some
中日双方
challenges as well.
应该抓住机遇，
We need to seize the opportunities and
推
diffuse
动
those
双边关系
challenges to
稳定改
promote
善
the
向
steady
好发展。
improvement of China-Japan
党际交流
relations. Party exchanges,
中日关系的一个
as
特
I've
色。
said, is
我
a
们
characteristic
中国
of
共产党
China-Japan
和日本的执
relationship.
政党之间也有一个
Between
机
the
制化的交
CPC
流
and
平
the
台。
ruling parties
今年
of
呢，
Japan, we
这个
also
交
have
这个
a
机制化交
regular
流平台的
exchange
第六次会
mechanism,
在
and
今
this
年8
year,
月在日
in
本举行。
August, we
双方
hosted
啊，
the
在这个会
sixth
上进行了
meeting
广泛
of
的接触，
this exchange
表
mechanism
达了
in
要
Japan.
继续推
We've
动
had
中
in-depth
日关系改
contacts
善
with
发展
each other,
这样一个积
and
极
both of us wished that we can promote the steady
两国之间
improvement
的
and
高层
development of China-Japan relations.
的确
As for the high-level exchanges
两国的
between our two
关系的发
countries,
展
it is
具有十分
indeed
重要的意义。
very important for our bilateral relationship.
但是我们也知道，
However,
两国之间高层的访问
we
呢，
are also
它
aware
是
that
需
for
要
such
民意
high-level
支持，
exchanges,
需
we
要百
need
姓的理解。
popular
所以
support
说，我
and
们
the
还是期
understanding
待着
from
能够
our people.
共同的努
Therefore,
力，
it is our expectation
为
that
双方之
we
间
can have
更
some
好的
joint
纪念这样的
efforts
重要的日子，
to lay the ground
为双方之间的关系
for
更好
our
的发展
commemoration
创造
events
更好的条件，
and
营造更好的气
for
氛。
the development
谢谢你的
of
提问。
China-Japan relations. Thank you.
好，谢谢。这样，请那个，对，先请那个刚才那一排往前的第3位那位，是男士吧？那个，啊，对，对。
好，谢谢郭主任。我是经济日报、中国经济网、经济日报2位一端的记者。我的问题是，就是改革开放以来，非公有制经济发展，就是逐渐发展壮大了，然后非公有制经纪人事业发展成为了一个庞大的群体。但是呢，现在他们的发展仍然面临一些制约，有人将其比喻为3座山、3扇门。然后我想请问，就是接下来在促进非公有制经济发展方面有何进一步的举措？谢谢。
With Economic Daily, since the start of reform and opening up, the non-public sector of the economy has grown steadily, and those working in this sector have also been large in number. But they also face some obstacles and bottlenecks in their development. My question is, how will the United Front promote the healthy growth of the non-public sector of the economy?
这个问题我来回答。刚谈到非公有制经济
About
发展很快。
non-public sector of the economy, it is growing really rapidly indeed and has become an important
现在
part of China's
我国的
economy.
民营企业
Well, private sector in China
2500万户。
The total number is about 25 million.
它的作用和贡献可以用5个数字来概括。
And they are making great contribution to China's economy
5就是民营企业
that can be summarized as
对国家的
follows.
税收的贡献。
In terms of tax, they contribute to over 50%.
6就是民营企业的国内生产总值。
In terms of GDP
固定资产投资
and fixed asset
对外
investment
直接投资
and foreign investment,
超过
they
60%。
take up over 60%.
7就是高新技术企业
By 7, I mean that
超过
the number of private businesses in high-tech sector is over 70%.
超过80%。
And by 8, I mean that they contribute to over 80% of urban jobs. And by 9, I mean that they contribute to over 90% of newly created job opportunities. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
作为社会主义市场经济的重要力量。
Non-public sector is an important part of China's market economy. And people working in non-public sector, they are among the contributor to China's development. And they are important members of the United Front and important people that we want to rally in this United Front. So for the United Front, in this sector, we will try to serve the goal of promoting healthy growth of non-public sector of the economy and encouraging those working in this sector to achieve success. So too healthy. And our United Front work is concentrated on those two objectives. To be more specific, our work is in the following 3 aspects. First, organization and better guidance. We make use of association of industry and commerce and also industrial associations to build a bridge between private sectors and the government. We will encourage them to have shared ideals with the party, and we provide better guidance for them. Since 2013, my department and the National Association for Industry and Commerce, we rolled out a campaign, educational campaign on ideal, and we encourage them to have faith in China's development and to do business in an honest way and fulfill their social responsibilities, and also to participate in poverty alleviation initiatives such as 10,000 businesses helping 10,000 villages, to build their conviction in socialism with Chinese characteristics, to build their confidence in the party, in the government, and in the society. And second, we reflect their aspirations. We reach out to people working in non-public sectors, and we put in place smooth channels for communication, so that for the difficulties that they face and the challenges they face and their recommendations and suggestions and all kinds of inquiries, we will put them together and report them to decision-making authorities at various levels. And also we will promote the implementation and improvement of relevant policies. For example, in certain period, in certain locality, in light of the investment environment, as you said, the 3 major obstacles, 3 mountains and 3 doors. Those are problems emerged in economic transformation and restructuring, and private sectors encounters some difficulties. The United Front Work Department will work to collect those difficulties and opinions and to report them to the party and the State Council and decision-making authorities at various levels. In order to remove the obstacles, the 3 mountains, 3 doors, a number of policies and regulations have been introduced with a view to addressing the challenges faced by private sector and creating an enabling environment. So we help them get their views heard, and this itself is a strong support for non-public sector of the economy. In March 2016, Xi Jinping attended relevant workshop with the members of the Association of Industry and Commerce, and he made important remarks. In his remarks, he responded to the concerns of those working in non-public sector, and his remarks provided clear guidance for the non-public sector, which has really boosted the confidence and injected fresh impetus to the transformation of non-public sector. And third area of our work is mobilization and implementation. We mobilize the incentives or the enthusiasm of private entrepreneurs and businesses for various policies and regulations. We oversee their implementation. We hope that they can provide a better and enabling environment for the non-public sector. 3 mountains, 3 doors, those obstacles, more often than not, the problem is mainly with the implementation process. It's about the last mile of implementation, whether the policies can be really delivered at the end of the day. So in the past several years, we are committed to building cordial and clean government-business relationship, and we encourage regions and localities to provide equal market access, to address financing difficulties, and to bring in more talents and human resources. And those measures have been well received and welcomed by the private sector. Also starting 2013, entrusted by the State Council, the National Association of Industry and Commerce, for 7 times conducted third-party evaluation on the implementation of policies. The purpose is to review whether there is a deficiency in implementing relevant policies. That has played an important role in making sure that the policies are duly implemented and a good environment can be fostered for private business. Thank you.
多谢郭主任，我是来自凤凰卫视和凤凰网的记者。第一个问题呢，想提给中联部的郭业洲副部长。其实我们知道，中国共产党与缅甸昂山素姬领导的民盟可以说一直保持良好的关系。那昂山也实现了成功的访华。昂山素姬在最近接受凤凰卫视专访的时候，也特别希望进一步来发展双方的这样一个良好的关系。但是当前缅甸的局势不稳，特别是若开邦的这个罗兴亚问题，可以说是引发了高度关注。西方国家还有联合国都谴责缅甸是在进行种族清洗。但是中国采取了支持缅甸来维护国家稳定的这样一个态度和立场啊，请问中方为什么要采取这样的立场？抱歉，第二个问题想请问给这个统战部的张副部长，我们非常关注达赖喇嘛的问题。因为我们知道，中方虽然一再表示了强烈的反对，但是少数的国家一直在持续邀请达赖喇嘛去访问。那么刚刚呢，达赖喇嘛结束了他的欧洲行程啊。我想请问，未来中方是否会采取更加进一步的新的措施来加强这种高压的反对？另外，对于外界持续在关注的有关于西藏的宗教自由问题，我关注到您在发言当中也特别谈到了这5年推进了宗教的中国化，明确了这样一个方向，同时也要进一步发挥信教人士的这样一个积极作用。那如何来理解？谢谢。
With the Phoenix TV, I've got 2 questions. The first one is for Minister Guo Yezhou. The CPC has good relations with Myanmar's National League, led by Aung San Suu Kyi, who has paid a successful visit to China. At the moment, Myanmar is going through some turbulence, and some Western countries maintain that there is ethnic cleansing in Myanmar. The Chinese government has expressed support to Myanmar's efforts to maintain stability. What are China's considerations behind such a position? And my second question goes to Minister Zhang. It's about Dalai. China, despite China's firm opposition, some countries have been inviting him for a visit, and he's just concluded a visit to Europe. Will China take more steps to express such opposition? And on the religious freedom in Tibet, in your opening remarks, you said that we must ensure the Chinese orientation of religions. Will that be more work be done in this regard?
感谢凤凰
Thank you
电视台啊，对这个中缅关系，特别是中缅
for your
两国政党交流的
interest in China-Myanmar relations, especially the party exchanges between our two countries. You know, we are friendly neighbors, enjoying profound palpable friendship.
我们希望通过各种渠道
We hope through different channels, including party exchanges, we can further enhance the palpable friendship and advance exchanges and cooperation in various areas. I believe you've been following situations in Myanmar. Since the political transition in 2010, political parties are playing an ever more important role in the political life of that country, and that is general background of our exchanges between the CPC and the major political parties of Myanmar. We have established and maintained friendly and good exchanges with political parties there. In 2010, we established friendly exchanges and relations with the Union Solidarity and Development Party of Myanmar. In June 2015, Zhao Aung San Suu Kyi visited China, led an NLD delegation, and this started our exchanges. And you mentioned the situation in Rakhine State. We've noticed the recent violent attack in that state. We condemn such violence. We understand and support the efforts of Myanmar in protecting peace and stability of the state. Sincerely hope for a speedy restoration of stability, including Rakhine State and other places of Myanmar. You said some Western countries have certain words on the situation in Myanmar. I've been thinking about that. Why China did the opposite from what the Western countries have been saying, because we have been following some basic principles in party-to-party exchanges. One of the most important principles is non-interference in the internal affairs of other countries, because we have full confidence in the government and people of that country. And secondly, what we've learned from recent events or from the past, the consequences of external interference in another country. That is why we will not interfere. And thirdly, because we have profound palpable friendship, and that is why we have confidence and belief in the government and people of Myanmar that they are capable of addressing their own issues. And fourth, we have been thinking about our traditional friendship. We are closely connected by mountains and rivers, and we have shared interests. Instability in Myanmar will affect us naturally, because you see, turbulence in North Africa will naturally affect South Europe. Therefore, between China and Myanmar, we are land neighbors. Therefore, such a consequence will also affect the Chinese side. Because of the above-mentioned considerations, we support Myanmar's efforts in promoting peace and stability of Rakhine State. We condemn violence and terrorism. Thank you.
Your second and third questions
这个提到的第二个问题是14世达赖
are about the 14th
在世界
Dalai
上窜访。
and his attempts to visit other countries in the world, and how will the Chinese government do to respond to that? First of all,
14世达赖
I want to make it clear that the 14th
达
Dalai,
赖喇嘛这个活佛世系传到现在这个人已经是第14
it
世，
is the 14th Dalai.
是
The
披着
living
宗教外衣
Buddha
的一
has
个
been
政
handed
治人
down throughout history. The 14th Dalai is a political figure
1959年
under the cloak of religion. In 1959,
逃到了国外，
he fled
组
to
织了
other
一个所谓的
country after betrayed his motherland, and he set up a
这个流亡
so-called
政府
government
秉承
in
的
exile.
它的宗旨
That so-called government
就是西藏
has
独
the
立
mission
分裂祖国。
of a separatist agenda
几
to
十年来
split Tibet
这个集
from
团
China.
14世达
For
赖
decades,
是这个集
the
团
group
的头目，
with the 14th
从来
Dalai
没有
as the
停
leader
止
has never
这方面
stopped
行为。
attempts to achieve that political agenda.
因此，14世达赖
Therefore, the 14th
窜访世界
Dalai's
上有
visit
些国家，
to some countries,
甚至个别国家的政府首脑和政治
to
政要
visit political figures in some countries,
会强烈反对。我想讲两点，希望大家能
no,
提起重视。
undoubtedly have triggered strong opposition from the Chinese government. I want to stress that there's no legitimate government that has recognized
即便是接待
the Dalai
国家的
group.
一些个别政要，他们的政府
Even if some government and some political figures that have accepted or met with Dalai, they don't recognize the regime of Dalai or his so-called government. And second, no country in the world, in the face of
得到对方政府的接待
separatism
而
of
不
the
反对、不抗议的。
motherland, would not lodge a protest against such an attempt to separate a part of
世界
China
上任何
from the country.
合法国家的合法政府
Every
只
government would
以这样
protest
这样的
such
名义
visit or meeting. So for any country, any organization, or anyone to accept the visit to meet with the Dalai
都是对中国
In our
人民的
view,
感情的重大伤害，
is a major offense
也是
to the
对他
sentiment
们
of the
只
Chinese
承认
people.
中华人民共和
And
国
also,
唯一合法政府，
Since they have
和他们
committed
承诺不承认达
to
赖集团
recognizing
的
China as
不
the
严肃
sole legitimate
因为
government
政府
representing
之间
China,
的
their
承诺是极其严肃。
attempt
虽然有人讲
contravenes their commitment
达赖是个宗教
because
人
this is a serious
我们政
commitment.
府没出面，
The Dalai,
而是个别官
some
员
may say that the Dalai is not a political figure, is a religious figure, and our officials meet with him in an unofficial, non-political capacity. But that's not true, that's not right, because for every official, they represent the government, and they are political figures. So we urge all
以中国的
to
友谊对
exercise
中国主权的
caution and prudence, to bear in mind the respect for China's sovereignty and for their relations with China, their
在
friendship
世
with
界
China.
上是在窜访。
For the past years, the
但是
14th Dalai has
政府
been
组织
seeking
接待
to visit other
越来
countries
越
in the world, but there are few and few
都是到某一个
governments
去
or
演讲
government organizations that have
讲课费，
received him. Usually
而
it's a
这个大
university
学一旦被
that paid
得到
the
了反馈
Dalai
后
to
大
give
学立刻声
a
明说
speech.
我不知道，我只知道他是个宗
And the
教
university would immediately announce that I've no idea of other things. I only know that he is a religious figure. And
对
such
这样一个
cases
以分
are
裂国家
reducing.
鼓吹一个地区独立的
So
一个分裂
for
阶层的
such
头目，
a leader of a separatist group that is engaging in separatist activities for any country or government to accept the visit, this is how we respond. On your second question
这个
about
一方面
in
讲
Tibet, there is the need to protect or respect religious beliefs, and at the same time will encourage religious figures to play their role. In the context of Chinese culture, how are these two things related to each other? First, the Tibetan Buddhism originated in ancient China. It's a special form of religion that originated within China. In the process of development of Tibetan Buddhism, it was influenced by other religions and other cultures. That is true, but it is not acquired religion. It is originated within China. It has its root in China. So it is an example of being Chinese. It has Chinese orientation. And second, for religion to have Chinese orientation, we have 5 major religions in China. There are also the cases of other religions, in addition to those 5 major religions in China, who are practiced by foreign people who are working or studying in China. They are all protected in China. In China, it is the responsibility of the government as well as religious organizations to protect religions in China, and also to all those who practice religions. For every religion in the world, from their birth to their development, there is always a pattern. But one thing is clear: for a religion to survive and thrive, it has to be in the context of the situation, realities, and conditions and trends of the country that it is in. Otherwise, it will give rise to big problems, and there are ample opportunities throughout history, ample examples throughout history. In Tibet, we are encouraging Tibetan Buddhism to remain in Chinese orientation. It is mainly about introducing or incorporating the fine results of the Chinese culture in the teachings of Tibetan religion. Why is that? Because the Chinese culture itself has Tibetan Buddhism as one component. For the Chinese culture to be splendid, it is because it brings together the cultures of all 56 ethnic groups and all the religions in China. So the Chinese culture actually can nurture the teachings and tenets of Tibetan Buddhism, so that Tibetan Buddhism, its teachings and tenets, could take in the latest fine results of the Chinese culture. It is also needed by the development of Tibetan Buddhism itself. Thank you.
第4排那位吧，也举了很长时间。
谢谢。您好，我是新华社的记者。这个问题想提给郭宇洲副部长。我们知道当前国际社会非常关注中国共产党，特别是关注习近平总书记治党治国的思想。请问，中国共产党是如何与国外的政党交流治国理政的想法和思路？怎样讲好这方面的中国故事？谢谢。
With the Xinhua News Agency, the international community is paying a great deal of attention to the Communist Party of China, especially General Secretary Xi Jinping's thoughts on the governance of the party and country. My question is, how has the CPC communicated these thoughts and ideas on governance with foreign political parties, and how to tell a good story in this regard?
好，谢谢你的提问。
Thank you for your question. As you've said, the international community is indeed giving more attention to the CPC, especially the new ideas and the thoughts of General Secretary Xi Jinping on state governance. Yesterday, we had another press conference here talking about the publication of that book around the world. Personally, I witnessed the popularity in the publication of this book of General Secretary Xi's thought on state governance. Therefore, I do think it's fair to say the international community is having an increasing degree of attention on this new thought. More leaders of political parties, scholars, and media come to realize that the reason why we have made historical changes in the development of China is because we have General Secretary Xi Jinping's leadership. It's because we have the guidance from the new thought of General Secretary Xi Jinping on state governance. Therefore, to understand China, we must first understand the CPC. And to understand the CPC, we must first understand the important thought of General Secretary. We should tell a good story of China or let the country, the party be heard, and also we need to share our experience with others. Therefore, in our party exchanges with other countries at different levels, we pay special attention to let the country and the party be heard by around the world. The same with General Secretary Xi in his different diplomatic occasions or events that he attend. He often shares with others many touching and moving stories, personal stories. I'm told by foreign friends that President Xi's speeches are very in-depth and are very touching and moving indeed. Just to share with you some examples, as our department is responsible for the international exchanges of the CPC, what we do, we've been mobilizing different officials at different levels to talk about the CPC. At the very basic level, we have invited foreign delegations to CPC events hosted for ordinary members so that our party members at the grassroots level can understand and appreciate the functioning of party organizations at the very basic and local level. We've also invited foreign delegations of political parties to observe the meetings of the standing committees of local party leadership, because you all understand the standing committees are very important in local leadership. In doing this, we hope that our foreign friends can see for themselves how local CPC committees implement the instructions and decisions from the Central Committee and Provincial Committee based on their own realities. And also we have invited some representatives from foreign political parties to visit the provincial party committees, and also we've hosted events named as Stories of the CPC, Practice of the CPC Provincial Committee. And by September this year, 5 events have been organized targeting different themes, including targeted poverty alleviation, supply-side structural reform, strict party discipline, innovative development, and green development. All are important parts of General Secretary Xi Jinping's thought on state governance. We've also invited leaders of foreign political parties to visit different departments of the CPC Central Committee. They have visited our party schools, the international department, the organizational department, and other relevant agencies. And at the very top level, for leaders of the party and the state, they have personally engaged in direct exchanges with party and state leaders of other countries. This year, In November or early December, we will hold another CPC in dialogue with the world. This is an open platform for dialogue, and we will invite a very senior member from the CPC leadership to have direct interactions with party leaders from other countries. So we have covered all the levels of the CPC structure. This is how we invite others to visit China. So the number is that for last year, we have invited altogether around 300 delegations to China. That is basically on every working day, we have foreign delegations visiting us in China. In addition to that, we also organized delegations to go abroad. Such exchanges have been carried out at different levels and in different forms, all for one purpose: to tell the story of China and the CPC, and to tell others how General Secretary Xi Jinping's thought on state governance is. And I can tell that our foreign friends, they have listened. I'm told by my foreign friends that such events at different levels, they got to learn from those events that the CPC is indeed carrying out a very comprehensive approach in leadership. They got to learn how local party communities implement central committees' policies and what is indeed the strength of the party leadership. And they have felt for themselves that the CPC is indeed a hard-working party, a party that has kept abreast with the times, a party that is open, confident, and has a strong sense of responsibility. We have a fight against corruption, as you all know, and we should fight both the tigers and the flies, that is, the high-ranking and low-ranking officials alike. We often tell others about our anti-corruption campaigns. This has been a great inspiration for many foreign political party leaders. Maybe they are very interested in our experience, but, for example, it might be a coastal country because of different cultural background. They have different thinkings or understanding about this notion, so they have another expression that we should catch both the big fish and small fish. That is another expression of the same idea. This is just one example of how we tell the story of the CPC, how we let the work of the CPC be heard by the world. We have been doing this at different levels of the CPC. And for our department, we are a functional department under the Central Committee. We are trying our best to let more foreign friends to know about the CPC, and I do hope friends from the press can help us in this endeavor.
上午的记者会就到此结束。下午3点，我们在这里邀请国家发改委主任何立峰和相关负责人来出席记者招待。
And you've been watching a live news conference from the CPC Central Committee's United Front Work Department and International Department. We heard from the Executive Vice Minister Zhong Yi-zhong of the United Front Work Department talking about the UFWD's work on ideology, religion, and with ethnic groups, the need to rally the nation to strive toward the common goal of the Chinese dream. He talked about nurturing religious